everybody, to today's episode of AAA News. We're your hosts, Avery and Rachel.
This week, we will be celebrating the 427th anniversary of one of Willie the Shake's most controversial plays, The Taming of the Shrew. We thought that this milestone would warrant a review from us two obvious experts. Long thought an extremely sexist play, some analysis has lent evidence to the theory that Willie the Shake was actually challenging traditional gender roles of the time period.
Well, let's jump right in then. To start, some information on William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born to John Shakespeare and Mary Arden on April 23, 1564, and died on the same date, 52 years later. John Shakespeare was a glove maker and an important public figure in Stratford-upon-Avon, William Shakespeare's birthplace.
Although there is no record of any formal education, Shakespeare is believed to have attended grammar school in Stratford-upon-Avon, where he would have studied languages and classic literature. At the age of 18, Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway, who soon gave birth to their first daughter, Susanna. They also had twins, Judith and Hamnet. Hamnet later died at age 11 and was buried in Stratford.
Henry VI is believed to have been his first play, which was written in 1590. The Globe Theatre, where many of Shakespeare's works were performed, was opened shortly after, in 1599.
In 1594, Shakespeare became a part of the Lord Chamberlain's Men, which later became known as the King's Men in 1603 after King James I ascended to the throne following Queen Elizabeth's death. The time in which Shakespeare was a part of these groups is when many of his most well-known plays, including The Comedy of Errors, Hamlet, and Julius Caesar, were written and performed.
Between 1590 and Shakespeare's death in 1616, he is believed to have written 38 plays. In addition to these plays, he also wrote more than 100 poems.
The Taming of the Shrew, which is believed to have been written around 1592, is one of Shakespeare's plays that feature a unique element of theater, a play within a play. Later on in the show, we will see a live performance of a pivotal scene from The Taming of the Shrew, where the main character, Catherine, is finally tamed.
But before then, let's explore some of the important characters. To start, Catherine is a key character, as she is the shrew that the title alludes to. She is an outspoken and often violent young woman with a substantial dowry. While she is referred to as a shrew throughout the play, she is also the strongest character, leading many to wonder what exactly Shakespeare was trying to say.
Petruchio is also a major character. Petruchio is a wealthy young gentleman who decides to tame Catherine in order to win her dowry. He also is extremely strong-willed, and he and Catherine often clash because of this.
Lucentio is a main character in the second storyline. Throughout the play, Lucentio is attempting to win Bianca, Catherine's obedient and virtuous younger sister's hand in marriage.
For our last important character, we have Grumio. Grumio seems at first to be a minor character in his role as Petruchio's servant. However, he actually has a very important role in the play as a comic relief character. Many times he takes Petruchio's orders quite literally, much like Amelia Bedelia, who appears in a popular series of children's books.
There's also Baptista, Catherine's father, Bianca, Catherine's sister, and Hortensio, the wealthy gentleman who is competing for Bianca's hand, all who have minor roles in the play.
Now, a short excerpt from Act 4, Scene 5 of The Taming of the Shrew. In this scene, Petruchio and Catherine are traveling back to Catherine's hometown. Petruchio makes Catherine claim untrue and ridiculous things to prove her submission to him.
Come on, in God's name, once more towards our fathers. Good Lord, how bright and goodly shines the moon.
The moon? The sun! It is not moonlight now.
I say it is the moon.
I know it is the sun.
Now, by my mother's son, and that's myself, it shall be moon or star or what I list, or ere I journey to your father's house. Go on, and fetch our horses back again. Evermore, crossed and crossed, nothing but cross.
Forward, I pray, since we have come so far. And be it the moon, or sun, or what you please, and if you please to call it a rush candle, henceforth I vow it shall be for me.
I say it is the moon.
I know it is the moon.
Nay, then you lie. It is the blessed sun.
Then God be blessed, it is the blessed sun. But not sun it is not, while you say it is not, and the moon changed even as your mind. What you will have it named, even that it is, and so it shall be for Catherine.
Well, forward, forward, thus the bowl shall run, and not unluckily against the bias. But soft, company is coming here. Good morrow, gentle mistress, where away? Tell me, sweet Kate, and tell me truly too, has thus beheld a fresher gentlewoman, such war of white and red within her cheeks? Would stars do spangle heaven with such beauty as those eyes become thy heavenly face? Fair lovely maid, once more, good day to thee. Sweet Kate, embrace her for her beauty's sake.
Young, budding virgin, fair and fresh and sweet, whither away, or where is thy abode? Happy the parents of so fair a child, happier the man whom favorable stars allot for thee his lovely bedfellow.
Why, thy how now, Kate? I hope thou art not mad. That is a man, old, wrinkled, faded, and withered, and not a maiden as thou say he is.
Pardon, old father, my mistaking eyes that have been so bedazzled by the sun, that everything I look on seem greeneth. Now I perceive thou art a reverend father. Pardon, I pray thee, for my mistaking.
Wow, those are some pretty good-looking and talented actors.
This scene was important to the play because it depicts the moment when the focus of the story, Catherine, is finally tamed. Although she is tamed, Catherine seems to be the most influential character during this section. And when she is tamed, she seems to know what Petruchio is doing and just decides to go along with it. So it's really less Petruchio doing the taming and more Catherine just deciding to listen to what Petruchio is saying. This is an important distinction in the time era of William Shakespeare.
I definitely agree. You would think that in Shakespeare's era, women would not have been so bold as to say, I am only agreeing with you to get you to drop this, but in reality, I think you're being ridiculous.
Shakespeare really gives us some interesting things to ponder from this scene.
And now it is time to cover some of the main themes that flow throughout the Taming of the Shrew.
One thing that I thought was really interesting was how marriage as an economic venture was stressed throughout the play.
Exactly. Many times I've noticed that Shakespeare ends his more romantic plays with a wedding that symbolizes the love that has grown between the characters throughout the play. In The Taming of the Shrew, however, he starts off with a wedding between two people who don't care for each other at all, but are only doing it for monetary gain.
Yeah, in fact, Petruchio, before he even meets Catherine, tells Hortensio that he couldn't care less what she looked or acted like. He only cared that she came with a dowry, and that the dowry would grow after Baptista's death.
A second theme that I found interesting was how social roles affected the lives and actions of the characters.
Most of the characters do follow the roles they're supposed to have based on their social classes. For example, Baptista is looking for suitors that will increase the wealth of his daughters, Hortensio is a wealthy gentleman who's searching for a wife, and our comic relief servant Grumio plays his role as a servant well.
We do see a lot of conflict, however, when somebody oversteps their roles. For example, Catherine is supposed to be obedient and virtuous like her younger sister Bianca. However, she is headstrong and vocal about her opinions, and that causes her to be labeled as a shrew by her community.
I think through this theme, Shakespeare makes a really intriguing statement about the roles society puts on people, which is still true today.
I agree, and I believe that is why Shakespeare is still so popular now, in the modern age. He makes these bold statements that are timeless and everybody can connect to.
Anyway, what was your professional assessment of the play? I thought it was really well done. Shakespeare did a good job of developing characters and creating tension that seemed real, not just like somebody attempted to create tension where there wasn't any.
I definitely agree. Shakespeare was successful in creating not only one good plotline, but two plot lines that were able to play off of each other really well. And as far as a personal assessment, I really liked it. It's a pretty fast-paced play, which made it easy to read, and I enjoyed pondering what Shakespeare was really trying to say about the roles of women.
I liked it personally as well. I especially like Grumio's characters, who brought a little bit of comic relief to the scenes with a lot of tension by taking Petruchio's orders literally.
Well, that about wraps up our discussion on William Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew.
I'm so glad that we were able to celebrate the 427th anniversary of this play today.
Yeah, I think we can all say, Happy 427th birthday, Taming of the Shrew!
Next week on AAA News, we celebrate the 406th anniversary of the Globe Theatre burning to the ground in 1613 after a performance of Henry VIII.
We will also be looking back on a few of the many famous works by William Shakespeare, including Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Othello, and King Lear.
We also have an exclusive interview with Anne Hathaway, who claims to have no relation to William Shakespeare. We think differently. Tune in next week to find out the truth.